I rock my son in the quiet sanctuary of his nursery, humming a lullaby my father once sang to me. Leo's tiny fist curls around my finger, his eyes fluttering closed as he drifts towards sleep. 3 weeks old, and already the center of my universe. The afternoon sun filters through pale blue curtains, casting gentle shadows across the oak rocking chair Eric refinished before Leo's birth. The jarring ring of my phone shatters our peaceful bubble. An unfamiliar Georgia area code flashes across the screen. Hello? I keep my voice low, Leo's warm weight nestled against my chest. Mrs. Blake? This is Vanessa Morales with the Georgia Family Services Agency. I'm calling about the custody release paperwork for your infant son. My body goes cold, as if someone's thrown open a window to January air. Excuse me? What paperwork? The temporary guardianship filing. We need to verify a few inconsistencies before proceeding with the adoption petition. The words hang in the air, disconnected from reality. Adoption petition. My arms tighten instinctively around Leo. The room tilts slightly. There must be some mistake. My son isn't up for adoption. My voice sounds far away, hollow. According to our records, your mother filed for temporary guardianship last week, claiming you had consented to placement proceedings. The floor seems to drop away beneath me. My mother. Patricia. The woman who kissed my forehead in the hospital, who held Leo and whispered how perfect he was. That's impossible. I never... The words stick in my throat as Eric appears in the doorway, his smile fading instantly when he sees my face. Mrs. Blake, we grew concerned when reviewing the documentation. Some signatures didn't align, and the timeline seemed rushed. Standard protocol requires direct confirmation with birth parents. Eric crosses the room in 3 strides, dropping to one knee beside us. His hand covers mine where it cradles Leo's head. What is it? He mouths. I can't speak. Can barely breathe. Someone has applied to adopt our son, I finally whisper, the words burning my throat. Eric's face drains of color. The woman continues, her professional tone never wavering. The paperwork claims both parents are mentally unfit to care for the infant. There are psychological evaluations attached that we found. Concerning. A sharp pain spirals through my chest. Leo stirs against me, sensing the sudden tension in my body. Who? Eric demands, reaching for the phone. I release it willingly, my fingers suddenly numb. His warm palm against mine grounds me as the room spins. This is Eric Blake. Who exactly submitted this paperwork? His voice is tight, controlled rage vibrating beneath each word. I watch his expression darken as he listens, jaw muscle twitching. When he speaks again, his voice has dropped dangerously low. My mother-in-law has no legal right to our child. Whatever documents you have were submitted fraudulently. A pause. Yes, that's correct. We'll cooperate fully with your investigation. As Eric handles the call, my mind reels backward 4 months, searching for warnings I missed. The memory rises with perfect clarity. My mother's living room, late February, dust motes floating in afternoon sun. The antique coffee table between us, cluttered with bridal magazines for my sister's upcoming wedding. I'm pregnant, I announced, unable to contain my smile any longer. Due in August. I'd rehearsed this moment for weeks. Imagined her joyful tears, her arms around me. Instead, her smile tightened into something calculated, her eyes cooling as they assessed me. Oh, she said simply. Then, have you told anyone else yet? I shifted uncomfortably on her floral sofa. Just Eric's parents. We wanted our families to know first. Her fingers drummed against her teacup. It might be better to keep this quiet for now. I blinked, confused. What do you mean? This baby. She set her cup down carefully. It's going to take attention away from Brielle's wedding. My hand moved instinctively to cover my barely showing stomach. The protective gesture wasn't lost on her. People love babies, Caroline, she continued, her voice gentle but firm. They forget the bride. Eric's voice pulls me back to the present as he ends the call. They're investigating. The agency got suspicious when dates didn't align. I stare down at Leo, his rosebud mouth slightly open in sleep, oblivious to the storm surrounding him. A fierce, primal surge of protection floods my veins. She tried to give away our son. The words feel foreign on my tongue. Impossible. Eric's arm encircles us both. She filed paperwork claiming we're mentally unfit parents, used forged signatures. Why would she? But I can't finish the question. Can't make sense of it. That night, long after Eric falls into troubled sleep, I sit in the nursery rocking chair, watching Leo's chest rise and fall in his crib. The moonlight catches on the silver picture frame on his dresser, me father on his last fishing trip, smiling despite the cancer that would take him months later. What else has she done that I don't know about? I whisper into the darkness. The question hangs unanswered in the quiet room, alongside one even more disturbing. What kind of grandmother tries to give away her own grandchild? The dining room table has become a war room. Papers spread across the polished oak surface Eric refinished last summer, corners overlapping like fallen autumn leaves. I trace my finger over what's supposed to be my signature on the custody release form. My stomach twists. This isn't even close to my handwriting. The loops are too round, the T in Thompson crossed with a flourish I never use. She didn't even try to make it convincing. Eric stands behind me, hand on my shoulder. Look at this. He slides a document labeled Psychological Evaluation in front of me. Severe emotional instability exacerbated by postpartum hormonal fluctuations. His voice drops. Recommended immediate intervention to ensure infant safety. My fingers curl into fists. In the nursery, Leo sleeps peacefully in his crib, monitor glowing on the side table. The tightness in my chest makes it hard to breathe. How could she do this? I whisper. My own mother. Eric places another paper before me, printed emails between Patricia and Sunshine family adoptions, dating back 3 months. Before Leo was even born. She's been planning this since your second trimester, he says quietly. The phone rings, shattering the heavy silence. Brielle's name flashes on the screen. I hesitate, then answer on speaker. What the hell do you think you're doing? My sister's voice fills the room, sharp as glass. Mom's having a complete breakdown, she called me, sobbing. Do you know what she did, Brielle? I keep my voice steady. Did you know she forged documents to give away my son? A beat of silence, then. Maybe she was trying to help you. You're always so overwhelmed, Caroline. Every time I call, you sound exhausted. The room tilts slightly. You knew. The realization slams into me like a physical blow. You knew what she was planning. I didn't. She stops. Look, Mom was just concerned. You're not exactly mother material. You work constantly. You've been moody since Dad died. Eric takes the phone. Brielle, your mother committed fraud. She forged medical and legal documents. This isn't a family disagreement. Don't call again unless it's to apologize. He ends the call. My fingers tremble as I open the family photo album on my lap. The evidence was always there. Every Christmas, birthday, graduation, Brielle centered, beaming. Me at the edges, sometimes partially cropped out. Last year's Christmas card arrived without me in it at all. Just Patricia and bride-to-be Brielle in elegant script. I never wanted to see the pattern. A knock at the door pulls me from the album. Our neighbor Martha stands on the porch, retired family court judge and weekly bridge partner to my mother-in-law. She studies the documents with reading glasses perched on her nose, face growing stormier with each page. This is criminal forgery, dear. Martha's voice carries the quiet authority of her 30 years on the bench. Not just family drama. These falsified psychological evaluations alone. She removes her glasses. You need to contact the district attorney. An hour later, Eric's parents arrive unannounced, arms loaded with casserole dishes and determined expressions. His mother takes over the kitchen while his father rocks Leo, humming the same Johnny Cash songs he sang to Eric as a baby. Use our phone, his father says, nodding toward their cell on the counter, in case she's monitoring your calls. The lawyer speaks in careful, measured terms. We'll need documentation of everything: financial records, communications, visitors who can corroborate your mental state before and after birth. My phone buzzes with voicemails from Patricia. I play them on speaker. Caroline, sweetheart, this is all a misunderstanding. Please call me back. I was only trying to help. After everything I've done for you. Eric disappears into our home office, returning with a thick folder. His engineering precision shows in the neatly labeled tabs. Financial records, he says, opening to the first section. Every payment you've made to your mother since your father died. $1,200 monthly for 5 years. I stare at the total. $72,000. Money we could have used for a house down payment, for Leo's college fund. There's more. He flips to another tab. Your mother's been making payments to Golden Oaks Resort. $35,000 for Riel's wedding venue. The room goes silent. My mother-in-law stops stirring whatever's on the stove. Martha sets down her teacup with a sharp clink. She was trying to give away my child to pay for Brielle's wedding. The words hang in the air, impossible, yet undeniable. Later that night, after everyone leaves and Eric falls into restless sleep, I find myself in my father's study, the room I've kept exactly as he left it. His desk calendar still open to the month he died, his reading glasses folded beside his favorite pen. In the bottom drawer, beneath fishing magazines and warranty cards, I find his last letter. The paper has yellowed slightly at the edges, his handwriting growing unsteady near the end. Promise me you'll keep the family together, Caroline. Your mother will need you. Tears fall onto his handwriting, smudging the ink. I trace my fingers over the words, feeling the indentations his pen made in the paper. For 5 years, I've honored that promise. Sent money I couldn't spare. Endured criticism and dismissal. Invited them to holidays despite the tension. I'd have kept that promise forever. But not at the cost of my son. In the quiet darkness, I open my laptop. The screen illuminates my face as I create a new spreadsheet. Meticulously, I document every cent given to Patricia since my father's death. Every text message pressuring me for more. Every false claim made about my mental health. Eric appears in the doorway, hair rumpled from sleep. Are you sure you want to do this? He asks gently. I look up at him, something hardening inside me. Something that feels like clarity. I made a promise to my father, I say, watching the numbers populate the spreadsheet. But I have a more important promise to my son. The doorbell rings, sharp and insistent. I freeze at the kitchen counter, Leo's bottle halfway to the warming bowl. Through the front window, I spot my mother's silver sedan parked at the curb. My stomach clenches. I'll get it, Eric says, squeezing my shoulder as he passes. Leo fusses in his bouncer, tiny hands flailing. I lift him, pressing his warm body against my shoulder. 3 weeks of sleepless nights have honed my instincts. I know when to retreat. Eric's voice carries from the entryway. This isn't a good time, Patricia. I need to speak with my daughter. Her voice breaks on the word daughter. The performance has begun. I step into the hallway, Leo secure in my arms. Patricia stands on our threshold, her mascara artfully smudged, tissue clutched in manicured fingers. The perfect picture of maternal distress. Caroline, please. Tears stream down her face. I was only trying to help. You seem so overwhelmed with the baby. Behind her, Mrs. Kaplan from across the street slows her dog walk to a crawl, ears practically swiveling in our direction. Help? The word tastes bitter on my tongue. By trying to give my son away? That's not your twisting everything. Her voice rises, calculated to carry. After everything I've done for you. I shift Leo to my hip, his solid weight anchoring me. Everything you've done to me, you mean? Her eyes narrow, tears mysteriously paused. Your father would be ashamed. The words slice, finding their target with precision honed by years of practice. But something unexpected happens, they glance off. leaving only a faint sting where once they would have pierced deep. My father taught me to protect my family, I say, voice steady. That's exactly what I'm doing. Eric steps forward, sliding a cream envelope from his back pocket. This is from our lawyer. You're being served, Patricia. She recoils as if slapped, neighbors forgotten. The mask slips, revealing something cold beneath. She snatches the envelope, stalking back to her car without another word. I watch her drive away, Leo's soft breath against my neck. I'm still standing. Detective Morgan's office smells of coffee and printer toner. Files stack neatly on her desk, my documents now among them. This is thorough, she says, flipping through my binder. Most people don't keep records like this. I bounce Leo gently on my knee. I'm an accountant. She smiles, the first crack in her professional veneer. That explains it. I'd labeled everything. Every check to Patricia, every text message, every forged document from the adoption agency. Dates, times, amounts, evidence. Walk me through the timeline once more, she says, pen poised. I recount each event methodically. My pregnancy announcement, Patricia's reaction, the money transfers, the agency's call. With each point, Detective Morgan's eyebrows rise slightly higher. You mentioned a recording? She asks. I nod, reaching for my phone. Patricia's voice fills the small office. I only wanted what was best for everyone. My recorded response, for everyone or for Brielle? A pause then. Your sister deserves her special day. You've already had yours. Detective Morgan stops the recording. And when was this? Last Tuesday. She called after receiving the letter. She makes a note, then meets my eyes. Mrs. Blake, we don't often see forgery cases with this level of documentation. The DA will be interested. I stroke Leo's downy head. What happens next? We built the case. Criminal charges are likely. She hesitates. Family cases can be messy. Are you prepared for that? For the first time, I smile. I've been cleaning up my mother's messes my whole life, detective. I'm ready to stop. The Sunday roast sits untouched on Eric's parents' dining table. Louise and Henry Blake exchange worried glances as the doorbell shatters our tense silence. I'll get it, Henry says, napkin dropping beside his plate. Eric's hand covers mine beneath the table as voices carry from the entry. Brielle's high-pitched demands cut through Henry's deeper tones. It's a family matter, she insists, heels clicking on hardwood. She appears in the doorway, designer purse clutched like a shield. Her eyes narrow at the domestic scene Leo in his portable seat, Sunday dinner interrupted. What are you doing? She demands, ignoring Eric's parents. Filing charges, are you insane? I set down my fork. Hello to you too, Brielle. This is destroying our family over a misunderstanding. Louise rises, moving protectively toward Leo. Perhaps we should take this conversation elsewhere. No, my voice surprises calm, certain. Say what you came to say, Brielle. My sister's perfect makeup can't hide the blotches rising on her neck. Mom called me crying. They're saying she could face jail time. For what? Trying to help when you were obviously in over your head? Help by giving my son away without my knowledge? You don't understand, Brielle's voice rises. Mom was going to help me pay for my wedding with that money. The silence that follows rings in my ears. Eric stiffens beside me. Louise gasps softly. Henry rises slowly from his chair. 6'2" of quiet dignity. You were going to sell your nephew for a party? Brielle falters, looking between us for allies and finding none. That's not. You're twisting everything. The adoption agency pays expenses. It's perfectly legal. Not when it's fraud. I say, standing. You've always been jealous of me, Brielle hisses. Now you're punishing Mom because you can't stand that my wedding will be bigger than yours was. The accusation hangs in the air. So absurd I almost laugh. Instead, I walk calmly to the door and hold it open. My son is not a transaction, Brielle. Get out. You can't. She can, Eric says, joining me. It's our home too. Brielle's face contorts. Mom was right about you. You'll regret this. The door closes on her threat. I lean against it, legs suddenly weak. Louise wraps her arms around me. You did right, Caroline. That kind of poison doesn't belong near your baby. Henry nods, one hand on Eric's shoulder. Family stands together. You three are not alone in this. I look around at their faces, me chosen family, and feel something settle in my chest. For the first time since that phone call 3 weeks ago, I stand straight-backed, certain. They wanted to take my son. Instead, they've given me my spine. I sign my name on the civil lawsuit with steady hands, the pen scratching against official paper. Exactly $35,000. Not a penny more, not a penny less. The precise sum I've given Patricia over 5 years since Dad died. You sure about this? Asks Marla, my lawyer, her gray-streaked bob swinging as she reviews the document. We could ask for punitive damages. This is enough. I cap the pen, feeling lighter than I have in weeks. I don't want her money. I want her to understand that actions have consequences. Marla's eyes crinkle at the corners. Most clients want blood. You just want accountability. Blood's messier, I say, watching as she slides the papers into a folder. And I've got enough laundry with a newborn. That afternoon, my phone dings with 4 text messages from my mother's friends. Word travels fast in Winston-Salem. The documents are public record now. The story of a grandmother trying to give away her grandson spreading like kudzu through church groups and neighborhood associations. Martha Harrington called. Eric says when he gets home, loosening his tie. Said she's praying for all of us, but especially for your mother. Thought you should know people are choosing sides. What did you tell her? That it's a private family matter being handled appropriately. He smiles, quoting the exact phrasing we practiced. Then I asked how her grandson's baseball season was going. Changed the subject real quick. I'm rocking Leo when my phone buzzes with Brielle's name. I don't answer, but moments later my social media notifications explode. She's posted a tearful selfie with a caption claiming I'm jealous of her wedding and punishing Mom for loving her. 3 mutual friends text screenshots, asking if I'm okay. She doesn't even mention Leo, I murmur to my sleeping son. Not once. 2 days later, Pastor Jim calls. Caroline, your mother made quite a confession at prayer group last night about your vindictiveness. She's hurting. I watch Leo's tiny chest rise and fall. Did she confess to forging my signature? To trying to give away my child? The silence stretches across the line. I thought not, I say quietly. The wedding invitations arrive at my in-laws' house. We've already changed our address with the post office. My mother-in-law brings it over, face pinched with concern. Look at this, she says, pointing to the photo montage on the back. There's Patricia holding a newborn Leo, her face beaming with grandmotherly pride. I study the image. That was taken the day after he was born, before she tried to give him away. The calm in my voice surprises even me. Later that week, I'm at my desk when movement catches my eye. Through the window, I spot Brielle's red Audi pulling into our driveway. I text Eric quickly. She's here. His reply comes instantly. Don't open the door. Lawyer said no direct contact. The doorbell rings 3 times, then aggressive knocking follows. Caroline, I know you're in there. You need to call off the dogs. You're destroying our family. I stand just inside the door, Leo against my shoulder, bouncing him gently as he starts to fuss from the noise. This is ridiculous, her voice grows shriller. Mom made a mistake. People make mistakes. Only after her car roars away do I realize my hands aren't shaking anymore. The cease and desist letter goes out the next day. Everything shifts the following week when Eric gets a call from an unknown number. Mrs. Parker, he mouths, covering the receiver. Brielle's future mother-in-law. I watch his face as he listens. Yes. No, we didn't know that. I understand your concern. No, we wouldn't expect you to. When he hangs up, his expression is a mix of vindication and sadness. News about the adoption fraud reached the Parkers. They're reconsidering their son's relationship with Brielle. That same day, the wedding venue calls me directly, asking about Patricia's bounce check. The deposit she promised Brielle and me money never materialized. At the grocery store, Patricia's neighbor Betty gives me a quick hug in the produce section. "We missed your mother at garden club yesterday," she says softly. No one said anything, but her eyes say what her words don't. The community is stepping back. The judge sets the criminal court date, 1 week before Brielle's wedding. My phone rings that night while I'm bathing Leo. Eric answers, his expression darkening as he listens. "It's Brielle," he says, covering the mouthpiece, "screaming that you have to drop the charges, says you're ruining everything." "Ask her which everything she means," I reply, lifting Leo from the water. "Her wedding or her mother's attempt to steal our child." Within days, news filters through mutual connections. Patricia's boy of 3 years has moved out. Brielle has postponed the wedding due to family circumstances. The caterer, the photographer, the floristall have been notified of scaled-back plans. They're experiencing real consequences for the first time. Eric observes one night as we eat dinner on the patio, Leo asleep in his bassinet beside us. The certified letter arrives the following Monday. A carefully worded apology from Patricia, delivered by her lawyer. The settlement offer includes full repayment plus emotional damages. Attached is a text from Brielle. "Mom made a mistake. Haven't you ever made mistakes?" The final line of Patricia's letter promises therapy in exchange for reduced charges. Pastor Jim visits that afternoon, hands clasped earnestly before him. "Forgiveness is divine, Caroline." After he leaves, I rock Leo in the quiet nursery. The last rays of sunset catch on Dad's photograph. His eyes so like mine seem to watch over us. A strange sense of clarity washes through me as Leo's weight settles against my chest. Sometimes the hardest promises to keep are the ones we make to ourselves, I whisper against his downy head. I reach for my phone and dial my lawyer's number, my decision made. Patricia's lawyer's office smells like lemon polish and old leather. I sit straight-backed in an uncomfortable chair, hands folded over the sleek portfolio in my lap while Eric maintains a steady presence beside me. Across the glossy mahogany table, my mother dabs at her eyes with a tissue. She looks smaller somehow, frailer than I remember a performance I've seen her perfect over decades. "Caroline, sweetheart," Patricia murmurs, clutching a silver-framed photo of Leo. "I just want us to be a family again." Brielle sits beside her, hair swept into an elegant chignon that matches her practiced expression of concern. The engagement ring on her left hand catches the light every time she gestures. "We all want healing," my sister recites, as if reading from an invisible teleprompter. "Mom made a terrible mistake, but hasn't she suffered enough?" Patricia's lawyer, a silver-haired man with sympathetic eyes and an expensive suit, slides a document across the polished surface. "These settlement papers are straightforward," he explains. "Mrs. Blake will make financial restitution, and in exchange, Caroline will drop all criminal charges." He adjusts his glasses. "Everyone can move forward. Consider what's at stake." Brielle's fiancé chimes in, his arm draped possessively across her shoulders. "This could all go away today." Patricia leans forward, hands trembling. "I was only trying to help. A grandmother's love can be misguided sometimes." The room falls silent. 5 pairs of eyes fix on me, waiting, expectant. The weight of their stares presses against my skin. I draw a slow breath, feeling the steady rhythm of my heart. "I've listened to everything you've said." My voice sounds different in this room, clearer, steadier than I expected. I place my portfolio on the table and remove 3 folders, arranging them in a neat row. This first folder contains every financial transaction between us for the past 5 years, I explain, opening it to reveal color-coded spreadsheets. $35,000 total. Patricia's lawyer leans forward slightly. The second folder holds copies of the adoption papers with my forged signature. I touch the edge of the manila folder without opening it. The Georgia Family Services Forensic Document Examiner's report is attached. My mother's gaze drops to her hands. The third folder, I continue opening it carefully, contains your messages to the adoption agency. I remove a single printed mail and read aloud. The parents are unstable and don't want the child. That's what you wrote about us, Mom. Patricia's mouth tightens into a thin line. I pull out my phone and play a recorded conversation. Patricia's voice fills the room. Do you know how much money I've spent on Brielle's wedding? Caroline owes me this. Eric's hand finds mine under the table. I don't need a courtroom to know what happened. I close the third folder, but I will take this to court if necessary. I slide the settlement papers back across the table. These are my terms. Full repayment of every dollar I've given you. Mandatory therapy documented by monthly reports. And you accept criminal responsibility with no jail time, just probation. Patricia's face flushes. After everything I've done for you. I have Brielle's text message to you. Do whatever you need to just make sure my wedding happens. I tap the screen of my phone. And your browser history showing searches for how to claim grandparent rights dating back to my second trimester. The mask of maternal concern slips from Patricia's face, replaced by something harder, colder, something I've glimpsed all my life but never fully acknowledged. You've always been selfish, Brielle snaps, mask falling away just as quickly. Mom was right about you. Patricia's lawyer raises a hand to quiet my sister. He leans toward my mother, murmuring something I can't hear. After a moment, Patricia nods stiffly. I believe Mrs. Blake would be amenable to your terms, he says, turning to me. Shall we revise the agreement? 30 minutes later, Patricia signs the new settlement with a trembling hand. She doesn't look at me. I gather my folders and stand, Eric a solid presence at my side. Brielle follows us into the hallway. Caroline, wait, you can't just... I don't turn back. 2 weeks later, I stand on the courthouse steps, blinking in the bright spring sunshine. The judge's words still ring in my ears. The court accepts the plea agreement. No jail time for Patricia, but restitution in full. Mandatory psychological treatment, and most importantly, a 2-year no-contact order protecting Leo, Eric, and me. Eric waits at the bottom of the steps, Leo nestled against his chest in a baby carrier. My husband's smile, that gentle curve of lips I fell in love with years ago, breaks through the cloud that's hung over us for months. It's finally over, I whisper, descending the steps toward my family. The moving boxes fill our living room, labeled in my neat handwriting. Kitchen. Books. Linens. The realtor's sign planted in our front yard catches the afternoon light, sold gleams in bold red letters across it. Eric carries another box out to the truck while I wrap my father's fishing photo in bubble wrap. I pause, tracing the glass over his smiling face with my fingertip. Behind me in the reflection, I see myself eyes clearer now, shoulders no longer hunched with the weight of impossible promises. I kept my promise as long as I could, I whisper to his image. I hope you understand. Leo babbles from his playpen, reaching pudgy hands toward me. I tuck the wrapped frame carefully into a box marked memories and go to lift my son into my arms. Some promises must be broken to keep the ones that truly matter. I plant the last rose bush in our garden, patting the soil firm around its tender roots. The mid-morning sun warms my back as I rock back on my heels, surveying the neat rows of perennials that edge our new home. Plants that will return year after year. Plants with staying power. Mama, Leo's voice carries through the open window. I turn to see him wobbling across our sun-drenched living room, arms outstretched toward Eric, who kneels 6 feet away with his phone raised. I'm getting it. Keep going, buddy, Eric calls, his voice thick with pride. I scramble to my feet, brushing dirt from my jeans as I hurry inside. Leo takes 3 more determined steps before tumbling into his father's waiting arms. My heart swells at their matching grins. Did you see that? Eric asks, his eyes bright with wonder. Every magnificent step, I say, throat tightening. These are the moments that make our fresh start worthwhile 60 miles and a world away from Patricia's manipulation. The new phone in my pocket buzzes. Unknown number. My thumb hovers over decline. A reflex developed since changing our contact information 3 months ago. But something makes me answer. Mrs. Blake? This is Dr. Hamilton's office. The voice is professional, clipped. We're calling to inform you that Patricia Blake has completed her court-mandated therapy program. My fingers don't tremble against the phone. My pulse doesn't race. Progress. I'm forwarding the formal assessment letter, the voice continues. Dr. Hamilton has noted significant progress in recognizing manipulative behaviors and boundary violations. Thank you for letting me know, I reply, my voice steady. After disconnecting, I find Eric watching me, Leo balanced on his hip. Patricia completed therapy, I explain, setting my phone face down on the counter. Are you going to respond? He keeps his tone neutral, respecting whatever choice I make. I look out at the garden I've just planted, the roots taking hold in new soil. Not yet, I say after a thoughtful pause. Maybe someday. And what did you learn from Caroline's experience? I ask the circle of women seated in the community center's back room. My therapy group for family estrangement has doubled in size since last month. A silver-haired grandmother dabs at her eyes. That I'm not alone. That sometimes setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's necessary. I nod, remembering my own therapy sessions, the breakthrough moment when I realized that honoring my father's memory didn't require sacrificing my son's security. Later that evening, we celebrate Leo's 2nd birthday. No extravagant party, just true friends around our backyard picnic table. Eric's parents bring a cake like a dump truck. Martha, our former neighbor who first recognized Patricia's actions as criminal, slips Leo a savings bond for college. Another deposit for the account that Patricia will never access. I snap a photo of the three of us, Eric, Leo, and me framed against the sunset. Our genuine smiles need no prompting. The grocery store fluorescent lights wash over Brielle's ex-fiancé as we stand awkwardly between produce and dairy. His cart half, mine nearly empty. The wedding's off. Permanently, he volunteers studying the floor tiles. Thought you should know. 6 months ago, this news would have stirred something vindication, perhaps, or at least curiosity. Now I feel only a calm indifference. I hope she finds what she's looking for, I say and mean it. I wheel my cart away, suddenly aware of the weight that's lifted from my shoulders. Not forgiveness, exactly. Liberation. To the family we choose, I raise my glass at Thanksgiving dinner, my voice carrying across Eric's parents' extended table. Faces beam back at mechanics who covered my workload during court dates, neighbors who left casseroles on our porch, even Vanessa Morales from the Georgia Family Services Agency, who spotted the inconsistencies in Patricia's paperwork. Blood ties these people together no more than ink binds words to paper. Yet here they sit, passing dishes and sharing laughter, creating something stronger than obligation. Home. More family coming tomorrow? Leo asks drowsily as I finish reading from the children's book. I've written a gentle story about a fox family that grows not through birth but through love. I smooth his hair back from his forehead. Yes, sweet boy. The kind of family that helps us grow stronger. After he falls asleep, I stand by his window, watching stars appear in the darkening sky. On Eric's wrist, my father's watch keeps time, a legacy preserved, transformed. I kept my promise to my father for as long as I could. But when I became a mother, I learned something new. My first promise now belongs to my son,